On Friday, hundreds of supporters gathered at the Lethbridge Courthouse to witness the fates of two men who were avid participants of the Coutts Border Blockade in 2022. Marco van Huigenbos and George Janzen were found guilty of mischief over $5,000 and sentenced to 120 days in prison and 90 days conditional, respectively, in a case followed by many across Canada. BCN's Landon Hickok has more in-depth details on the judge's decision.
The Lethbridge Courthouse was the site of where two men were sentenced for their roles at the Coutts Border Blockade in 2022. Marco van Huigenbos and George Janzen were found guilty of mischief over $5,000 for their roles, and a third man, Alex van Herk, has been given 30 days to seek new counsel after letting go of his previous defense lawyer. Now, van Huigenbos and Janzen each carried out their pre-court duties differently. Marco van Huigenbos has refused to take what's called a pre-sentencing report, which determines one's personal information, beliefs, and daily lives to determine a proper sentencing for the judge to consider. Janzen, however, has completed his PSR, and the court has gone back saying his results were positive. On Thursday, the first day of the sentencing hearing, George Janzen apologized to the court for his role at the Coutts Border Blockade in a quote saying, "Our actions, well intended to voice our concerns on important issues, adversely affected the daily lives of many in Milk River and Coutts." Van Huigenbos, on the other hand, has not shown any remorse. Van Huigenbos has been sentenced 120 days by Justice Keith Yamuchi for his leadership role at the Coutts Border Blockade, claiming incarceration will provide a real deterrent effect. He also added that his moral culpability was a mitigating factor and compared his case to that of Anthony Olenek and Chris Carbert's sentences for mischief, where they got 6 months concurrent on top of their weapons charge of 6 years. Janzen has been handed a 90-day conditional sentence in which he can serve with 100 hours of community service. Justice Yamuchi states that he is, quote, well on the way to rehabilitation after recognizing the, quote, wrongs that he committed. No house arrest has been issued, confirmed by his lawyer later, but he is banned from visiting the towns of Coutts and Milk River.
Well, we're very pleased with the outcome in one way. We're pleased that Mr. Janzen avoided a sentence of actual imprisonment. We're pleased that he received a conditional sentence of a short duration. And we're also pleased that in this case, and it's something I haven't seen in my career at least, that Mr. Janzen did not receive any house arrest. He didn't receive a curfew. And we think that's a very good outcome for him.
The sentence is the sentence. There is a range that this justice had. A range that hasn't been set in Alberta. So he's not got any guiding precedent. And so I think what he is saying is he's joining up with his colleague, Justice Lebrens, and his colleague on yet a lower court, Justice Cranky, and saying this is where we're doing in Alberta.
The Crown, led by prosecutor Stephen Johnson, were seeking 9-month and 6-month sentences for Van Huigenbos and Janzen respectively, arguing that their political motivations were an aggravating factor. The justice countered back, saying that their suggestions were overreaching.